So literally, I was eating ice cream at night, and I was eating eggs and oatmeal in the morning, and I was fucking lean. And then I stopped eating ice cream and ate yogurt and fruit and sugar-free syrup and no carbs for breakfast, or I skipped breakfast altogether, and I got fat. How does that happen? How does that happen? How do you ditch ice cream and get fat? Stay tuned. All right, what is poppin', you guys? All right, you saw the title, okay? I got fat in a calorie deficit. I was eating less than 2,000 calories per day, and I gained body fat. Because what happens is, it's about insulin. And what happened is I did the intermittent fasting, and then I would eat one meal, and then the next meals after that were too close together, and then my insulin like just went up too high, and then it got messed up and caused me to be extremely hungry all the time. And then it basically, your insulin kind of just does this, and it opens. And that's what happens when you punk your insulin, then it stays open and just inhales everything, and then everything that you eat just goes right into your body fat. So, how did this happen? What did I do? Okay, I kind of want to go over this, all right? Here's what I did, okay? My old diet was like breakfast. It was like I was eating the ice cream at 9 p.m., and then breakfast was at like 7:30. So I wasn't doing time-restricted eating, or I wasn't doing intermittent fasting, or keto, or any of this, okay? It was just like oatmeal with like, one of the breakfasts I remember was like cereal. I would put like Special K cereal in the oatmeal, which was actually pretty good. And then I'd have like 2 or 3 eggs on the side. And then maybe I'd put raisins in the oatmeal instead, whatever. So I had some like sugar in the oatmeal. And also, like, before I keep going, like, all right, literally, like, here's what I looked like before any of this happened. Like, I'm on a normal diet, normal healthy diet. It was like here. And then if you look here, you can see like my face, like it literally just like blew up. And it's because like I felt it now, like it just like makes your body hollow, and then you absorbs everything. And like that's what happened. Then I would go for a walk, or I would go to the gym. Now, let me preface this whole thing. I have a spinal cord injury, so I walk with a cane, and I only walk at like 1 mile an hour. Like if I walk, like today I was just at the gym and I was walking on the treadmill at like 1.3, and that was fast. Normally it's at 1, and that's the treadmill, so I can go faster. But anyway, so that's the point, is that like I can't walk. That's a story for another video. Like the whole right side of my body is like impaired from this motocross accident that I had. So, but I want to tell everybody first about like how I gained body fat while I was not eating enough calories. Because it's like, oh, does it matter? Like you'll get these people online, like I was just listening, another thing. These people online, they're like, oh, it doesn't matter. How many times per day can I eat? And it's like, it doesn't matter how many times per day you eat. All that matters is your total caloric intake. And it's like, no, that's wrong. Because it's like the big meals too close together, too many snacks, right? The wrong kinds of snacks, like dairy, for instance. Like you think dairy has 0 carbs, but what happens, but it actually has like a high insulin effect on your insulin. Like there's a chart for all the foods, and like each food is like a score, and like the cheese and the dairy are like high on. It's like if you've ever had like some like jalapeno cheddar dip, or like maybe with like sour cream and things like that, you notice like what'll happen is it's like the food, that's like one of those foods that's really good, and it seems like it's a lot harder to stop eating that. It's just like your body, what it does is it's just like absorbing that food, and it's like raising your insulin, which is just causing you to be more hungry. And it's just like when your insulin's high, then you're tired and you're more hungry. And then like if it gets really, really high, then you end up like me, where you end up just like gaining body fat regardless of your calories. Or at the least, you won't be burning your body fat if you're in the deficit. Basically, I had a normal diet. You know, it was just like oatmeal and eggs, and then it would be like a fiber bar, and then it'd be like leftovers with like some kind of carb at lunch, and then it was yogurt and fruit in the afternoon. And then dinner would be the same thing, just like a regular, like, healthy dinner, you know, like rice and chicken and, like, vegetables or, like, a little salad or whatever, you know, like, just, like, pretty healthy food. And then I did the intermittent fasting, right? And what happened was, because, like, my old diet, the problem with that was I never actually experienced, like, true hunger during those days. Like, I would just get tired from previous experience, like, my goal was eat every 2.5 hours. And so then I was like, okay, then I would know, all right, it's been so long, I'm really tired, kind of hungry, so then I would eat. But my body always felt like kind of really heavy. And then I did this fasting thing, and there was like one time where I like worked out a little bit at my house, like I lifted some weights a little bit, then I went to the gym, and then I went for a walk in this forest reserve. And when I did the walk on the forest reserve after the gym, I was like, my distance like increased a lot, and like I was able to walk a lot further without getting nearly as tired. And then I was like, well, what the hell, man? I didn't eat anything. You would think like the average brain would go, well, if you haven't eaten anything, you're going to be more tired. But it was the opposite. It was like I was way less tired. And I'm not the only one. I've heard other people talk about this. Like, I did all this without barely eating or whatever. And it's like, okay, so then, of course, then I started experimenting with this. But then I started noticing that some days I would just like, you know, like, especially like if you're kind of wore out and then the food is there and you haven't eaten in like 16 hours or something, then you might, a lot of times it'll like shut your stomach off. So like you'll actually be able to eat less, even though you haven't eaten in 16 hours, than if you eat, if you just do a 10-hour fast, or like if you eat right away in the morning. So it's like your body's like survival tactics. Like it knows like, okay, no food, so we're gonna kind of like down regulate everything, you know, less hunger. So then I was like, and then I would get really hungry. Like that first meal I would eat it, but then I would get really hungry again really soon. And then but I still had this like, I can only eat every 2.5 hours thing in my head. So then I'm going, okay, what do I do? So then I go up, then this is at the same time keto's coming out. And so then I'm like, okay, keto, maybe I can, maybe people are calling this like fasting mimicking is what keto is. That's what I heard, at least, is keto is fasting mimicking. It makes you feel the same. So then I'm chasing this because it kept my endurance up and my body was so light and everything. And then it's like, then you don't have to worry about food all the time, and like, you know, your cravings go away and you get way less bloated. Like everything about it seems like it's good, right? Except for the fact that once you go to refeed, you haven't had food in so long. So I have to go to part 2. Okay, there's definitely a part 2. Okay, so, but in the meantime, this was fun, guys. If you literally made it this far, please just hit the like button. All right, subscribe. All right, this is some new guy on YouTube.